So, Matt, you're fresh from the hot, humid Jacksonville, Florida, where you entered the blood room. Tell us about it.
Yes, Chris Jericho is dead. Long, long live the new king MJF. Um, yeah, that was a hell of a thing. That match was nuts. Being there live. I mean, there's probably because there was a lot of moving pieces, so I know I missed a bunch of it, but there was blood everywhere. That whole second ring was just covered in it. Um, yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts.
And I mean, you've gone from seeing zero wrestling in the last, I don't know, year and some change. Was the last time you saw a lot of wrestling, live wrestling on that cruise ship, or did you go after?
No, I went to an indie show at home a couple of days ago. Um, so
Oh, right, right.
I'm overloading myself with wrestling events now that they're actually happening. Um,
Yeah.
by the way, let me jump in and uh, Palmetto Championship Wrestling in Columbia, South Carolina. They put on a great show. I mean, it was just a little thing in a gym at a community center, um, but just a fantastic show. The show opened with four of their academy graduates in their first ever match, um, and it may have been one of the better fatal four way matches I've seen in a long time. Um, so if you are in the Columbia area and can make it to a Palmetto Championship Wrestling show, their next one is June 5th. You might see me there, as I already bought tickets for it. So come out, support little wrestling groups in your areas. Doesn't have to be Palmetto. Just find one near you and go see a show.
And the cool thing about that compared to LA is like I'm seeing more fully formed wrestlers already
Yeah,
in LA. Like I was seeing Jake Atlas, who is I know eventually going to kill it on a bigger stage than 205 Live, or slash be cut out of NXT episodes. I know he will be great, and he is great. And I saw him go against like Sammy Callahan and Swerve Isaiah Swerve, whatever they call him now. I Scott.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isaiah Swerve Scott. He wrestled Nick
So the cool thing
Gage.
about yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
he did,
So the cool
and
thing
that guy
about like
terrifies me.
on a future episode of Dark Side of Ring, but the cool thing about like Palmetto is you do get to see some more like uh some guys really starting out. So like if they do make it big, then you that's kind of more like, oh man, like I saw that guy. Like that's pretty cool. While like in LA, it's kind of like inevitable they're going somewhere if you're already seeing them at most of the shows I go to. So yeah, different different thing. But let's get back to the blood and guts match. So the you had to wait for an hour, so you guys
Hour and
had a
20
little interesting
minutes,
situation.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
The everything that you saw prior to Blood and Guts was not actually taking place in front of the audience that you could hear. They were televising pre-taped matches and asked the audience beforehand to serve as crowd noise during those taped matches that we were watching on TV, just like you were.
um,
It was a weird experience. It's a bummer. You go to a show and you think, okay, I get to see John Moxley and Kenny Omega's going to be there, and well, he was there. He came out and did a promo like in front of the actual crowd, um, and Britt Baker had a match, and there was there. I mean, I still think QT Marshall's the most boring human being on the planet, and that match ran for 2 days when it could have gone for like 3 minutes and been fine. Um, but like I didn't get to see a Cody entrance live, so it's a
yeah.
little bit of a bummer, and probably something that probably I would say that when you buy the ticket, they should send you an email that says, "Hey, just up front, you should know that this is the deal for the show. If you would rather not be here for that, give us an out before we've already come to Jacksonville."
Yeah. My guess is they were really thinking they could get that cage up until like late last week, and then they realized they couldn't, and that they needed to shoot all these other matches on Tuesday night instead. So I don't know. That's my best guess of what happened. And if they were doing it in a normal arena, which is gonna probably happen next time they do one of these matches, they'll be able to raise it. It won't be a problem. But just due to the outdoor nature of Daly's place, I just it wasn't in the cards. So
Yeah.
yeah. But any other takeaways you have from that match?
Um, I thought Wardlow put on a good show. Um, Santana and Ortiz channeling their inner insane clown posse was a little strange. Um, I man, that suit that Tully had on, like he came out with some Seth Rollins level drip. I was like, this is nuts. He's got the rhinestones and everything. Um, but yeah, I mean, everybody put on a good show. The wild thing was that MJF's on the top of the cage, so of course that's where the camera is, and it's following Jericho up. The guys in the ring didn't slow down at all. They literally the whole time were just beating the hell out of each other. They were still throwing chairs, like whipping each other with the sock quarters. Like they didn't slow down. It was kind of nuts because they definitely had a chance to take a breather and they did not. It did not disappoint live.
That's the one thing I'll notice. It was there was no time for anyone to really breathe. I mean, there were some times where the guys will be down for a little bit, but it just the pace of the match was just nonstop.
Yeah.
So
And I kept thinking that Santana and Ortiz were stuck when they got thrown against the cage and fell beside the because Jericho's over there like trying to pull the cage off them. And I thought, just
oh
go under
man.
the ring. Kane's under there. It's fine.
uh, Another DMD, not actual though. And um, did you watch NXT this week?
I've watched everything since SmackDown. Um, SmackDown was pretty good. Daniel Bryan is no more. We talked about that. Um, NXT this week, really good match between Jake Atlas and L.A. Knight, edited out of
Nice.
the Hulu version. Um, Not real sure why. It was a great match, and they're clearly pushing L.A. Knight. So I don't know what the deal is there. Um,
Hmm.
we have new women's tag team champions. Candice LeRae finally has a title belt in NXT.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah,
And Cameron
after all
Grimes
these years.
might be quitting wrestling because Dogecoin is just shooting to the moon. So he's had a good 24 hours.
Yeah, he got trolled by DiBiase again. This time he was trying to go to the VIP room at a local club and was told he couldn't get in because the entire place had been rented out. Enter the $1 Million Man. So they're having fun with these little videos, and I'm there for it. Um, Rest of the week, oh, we have Raw. Um, it was Raw, so you got a
Yeah.
main event was Braun and Bobby Lashley that of course ended in a DQ because Drew had to get involved because we can't have clean finishes on Monday Night Raw. Um, Team RK Bro is 2-0. My snakeskin speedo is coming at some point. I've got a feeling. Really
Oh man.
excited to wear that on the podcast and make sure we lose all of our listeners. Even you, the random listener in Italy that signed up. We appreciate the subscription. But yeah, Raw was an episode of Raw. You didn't miss anything if you didn't watch it. Um, 205 Live was what it normally is, 30 minutes of a Raw recap, two really good matches. Other thing on Raw, Mansoor made his Monday Night Raw debut. Mansoor of Indian acclaim had a
Or is
49-0.
the
What?
from the Super Showdown from several years ago? He won that battle royal
Yes, and since the Battle
several years
Royal
ago. Yeah.
win, he is 49-0 until he got a loss on Monday Night Raw via, you guessed it, disqualification. He had a match for the
I think
United States Championship, and Humberto Carrillo, also affectionately known as Dale Gas, interfered with the match and cost him. That was his first loss, so he took a loss by disqualification. Uh, they'll pretend it didn't happen, but yeah,
yeah.
it was a bit of kind of a waste of a dude's Raw debut when he's got a pretty good streak going, to have him lose like that.
I think Tony Khan in an interview just recently said that he doesn't like to waste time on just false finishes every week. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
while AEW has their own kind of tropes, especially mainly just like everybody piling in from the back, uh, I do agree. Like false finishes is just really kill WWE's programming, really.
it does.
And there's
And
not as
they
many in NXT either.
No,
So
NXT doesn't have them. SmackDown doesn't tend to have them. Generally on
yeah.
SmackDown, you get a finish before somebody gets in the ring and causes chaos. Um, the definite trope on AEW is that rules come and go. Um, Sometimes you don't even have to make a tag; you just kind of
Yeah.
swap partners. No big deal. Or like the straps in that Cody Rhodes QT Marshall match. Let's take Cody's, but when you clearly see QT use his, the match should have been over. Like, I
Yeah.
would have been thrilled. End the match there. We're good.
Uh,
Um, yeah, so they've all got their issues, but yeah. No, so I'm curious. I wanted to check before we started this and forgot. Is Fozzy going on tour? Was throwing him off a cage kind of a write him off TV for a while sort of thing? Let's find out.
um, I mean, I think. Oh no, they are going on tour. They are very much going on tour,
Oh yeah, he
but
has a show in
I
Michigan
think.
Friday.
Oh wow! All
Yeah,
right.
he is going back on tour. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of putting on shows with crowds and all that, Double or Nothing is going to be full capacity at Daly's Place. Now, just putting aside whether that's a good idea still from like COVID and all that, you were complaining about how hot and humid it was just 2 hours ago. How's that going to be with all the lights and all the people
Um,
at the end of the month?
well, I think I had an unfortunate experience that it rained a bit before the show started, which shot the
Yeah.
humidity way up. I don't think it would have been so bad. Dailies it's actually it's a brilliant concept for an amphitheater to be covered but have the sides completely open. It kind of builds a wind tunnel. So
Yeah.
I think if the humidity hadn't shot up from the rain right before the show started, I don't think it would have been so bad. I'm also nursing a back injury and went into the show with a thermo wrap around my waist. So every time I like rubbed against something, it heated up. So that wasn't helping either. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what full capacity is for that place. It didn't seem like much. I don't know that it could hold more than like 3,500 people. Um,
It's 5,500
wow,
for wrestling.
wouldn't have thought that. Um, so yeah, I mean that seems all political and just general opinions of doing a full show as COVID is starting to spike with all of the variants making their way in. Um,
Yeah.
I I don't necessarily know that. I want to, there's a lot of people to cram into that venue. I realized that like a week
Yeah.
ago, Machine Gun Kelly sold out that venue. I didn't realize that people actually
Hmm.
liked that shit. I'll throw an opinion out on that one. Who listens to that shit? But
I liked it when he
um,
showed up on WWE and he got power bombed off the stage through a table. That was great. That was my favorite Machine Gun Kelly moment.
yeah, that works. We're good with that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that really getting out of the parking lot kind of sucked. So cram a full load, that would just make it that much worse. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's, a month from now, it is going to be like 10 degrees hotter. Because I think it was 91 when the show started today. It'll definitely be pushing 100 in lovely Jacksonville, Florida. Uh, that wasn't sarcasm, by the way. Jacksonville actually is kind of a pretty town. There's a really nice park right here next to the Omni. Um, for some reason, all of the fast food places that Google says are open until midnight were already closed at 10:15, which was a little weird. But yeah, well, I don't really know what the deal was with that. But I mean, this town is really quiet. There's no traffic anywhere, which is kind of alarming. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, cool that you got to visit when it was what 40% capacity, 50%. What do you think tonight?
yeah, I'd 40's probably a safe bet. Um, there were a lot of empty seats. There
Yeah,
were it's
they
weird
they
the seating in the upper level looked like it was the most full of any of them. Um,
hmm,
all the pods were for the most part were spread out in the lower levels. Weirdly, the people behind us were only like one seat from me, so that like a foot and a half. That's it's
hmm,
not really socially distant, but um, I kept the mask on the whole time because
yeah,
COVID is real and gonna gonna kill
yeah.
me at some point.
All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. But thanks for staying up with us tonight and
Oh yeah,
and and doing this podcast. And we're going to put it up basically right away. And I hope your mom had fun at the show. And yeah,
yeah, she had a blast. Had plenty of giggles at shirtless Jericho, as we all have. I also felt the need to show her the teaser video for the video game, which she definitely had a hell of a laugh at.
yeah,
Spray tanned potato that still has abs spray painted on. Um, it's it, it's just funny. Um,
yeah.
oh, the other I missed the most noteworthy thing about the entire blood and guts match. I don't know if it was on TV, just because they were probably showing the action in the ring. But when you're live and Wardlow is outside in his singlet, he just paces back and forth, flexing his pecs, just walking around,
Wow.
looking at the crowd, flexing his pecs. If he did this for like 20 straight minutes, it was insane. Yeah, that
Yeah, they were
I was
definitely paying attention to the ring.
I was kind of mesmerized by it. I was really glad that he stopped doing it about the time they hit that Spanish fly off the ropes, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that was insane.
but yeah, that was one of the more noteworthy moments for the live crowd. That and the hell is his name? The Hollywood hunk, Ziggler's brother. Uh,
Oh yeah, Ryan
basically,
Namath.
basically serving as a cheerleader to the crowd, trying to keep people pumped and like yelling and stuff through the whole match. Um, the talent that worked as the audience, they put some work in, man. They were all in it all the time
Yeah,
and just actively trying to keep the crowd going, which was it's a big ask when um, we're watching Dynamite on TV, because
yeah.
that's what we got for an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, cool. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed Dynamite and the week it was in wrestling. Please like, review, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell. That's a new one that I got to add. And
The
yeah,
hell
we'll
is
catch you
that?
next week.